reasons. I didn't try and look that up.
It's the prod father. Oh, because they're using the cattle.
Oh yeah, that's probably exactly why. It's like, oh, it's got to be some sort of reference to orthodoxy or something like that. And it's like, no, it's just because he used a cattle prod. It's me trying to overthink it.
You were trying to look something in the whatever the Talmud or something like that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wow, this is deep Jewish religion, here. Nope, it's just because he used a cattle prod. That makes perfect sense.
See, we're not rusty at all.
Absolutely not. That analytical mind of mine always working. All right. Well, let's get into the episode. That gets us through our trip back to the week of February 10th, the week of February 17th, 2015. So if we remember where we left off, this is after the events in the hotel in Lexington. Ava was on the phone with Raylan. She's worried that they're on to Ficus. And she's warning Raylan about it. And Boyd comes in and she has to hang up quickly and convinces him that they need to go back to Harlan tonight. And we open this episode with them in the car on the way back to Harlan. They're sitting in some traffic. And Boyd's pitching her on Christmas tree weed in Kentucky and staying in Harlan to get rich because Boyd's always chasing that bag. And, she wanted to stay, when he last talked to her. and what's changed in that time is she's become aware that Catherine Hale might be on to her being a government informant. So now she wants to get the hell out of town. And he's very confused by this. Because he's like, well, wait, you wanted to stay and now you want to leave. And he's like, I found a way for us to stay and get rich. And now you don't want to do that. What's going on? And she uses the excuse that she's afraid, hey, you're poking Markham and he's a dangerous dude. I'm worried about that. And so that's a pretty good answer, I think, to sort of throw him off the scent. She might actually also be worried about that and legitimately worried about that too, not just using it as an excuse. And the reason they're in traffic is because there's a roadblock. They have the roadblock set up for the Stadies to check to make sure that Ava is okay. Raylan's there hiding in the shadows with Tim, and they determine that she's okay, so they need to go and find Ficus. At the same time as that's all happening, we get Wynn and Grandma Crazy Eyes, who is babysitting her grandchildren. I would say babysitting in very loosest possible terms, by threatening to lock them in the closet. And Wynn is very uncomfortable when he comes in and there are children in the room. You can tell he's not a guy who's used to being around children. He's very, very uncomfortable. I love his reaction. He just kind of like, there are children there.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Or whatever it was that you could just tell. It's just funny.
And so they also have eyeballs on Ficus because they're waiting for law enforcement to intervene. So the whole idea was we poke Ava about how she got out of jail. She panics, calls Raylan, assuming that Raylan's involved. She panics, calls law enforcement, and they then go to Ficus to make sure he doesn't tell the truth. Well, they keep somebody on Ficus to see if law enforcement's going to attempt to intervene. And instead, what happens is Ficus leaves his house. And so we'll find out what happens there with Ficus in a little bit. That morning, also, Ava is getting ready to head to work, but she's making breakfast for Boyd first. And that is, in fact, our food of the week.
God damn, woman, you only shoot people when they're eating supper.
And this breakfast is pancakes, bacon, coffee, orange juice, and overcooked eggs with biscuits and gravy. And if you look at how skinny Boyd is, it's like enough food for 14 Boyds. It's a insane amount of food that she's made for him.
It always happens like that, though. Like it'll just be like two people. And then like, and think of it, anytime there's like a spread like that, it can be just two people. Like the OC always did that.
That's true. They had like the basket full of bagels,
the bagels, and then when they had their housekeeper, she would be making all that food.
Yep.
You know, yeah. But it just looks better for TV. I think.
I think that's like probably what it is. Yeah. But I did notice how overcooked those eggs were. They were.
Yeah. Like the biscuits. I don't know. Biscuits always look dry to me on TV anyway.
Well,
also,
that's because biscuits are dry generally. But you can have a really good, like salty, sort of dryish, but still soft biscuit. Like I'm a big fan of those. But
you have to put butter on it.
But you do have to put butter on it. Yeah.
Or
sausage gravy, which is what Ava was providing there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have this. It's not even that I don't like. I just haven't had a good sauce, like the white gravy with sausage. I've never had a good experience with any of it, and I'm sure it's good, but I think it must be an acquired taste because I've tried some of the some of that, and it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't see why people are. People get so excited about it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't really care for the white gravy, the sausage gravy. But the people who I know who do like it have said that the Cracker Barrel sausage gravy, biscuits and gravy is apparently fantastic. So,
so they have them out here.
Do they?
The Cracker Barrel, yeah. Like their French toast. I like the French toast over there. They do French toast with fried chicken.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
Yep. Like a spin on chicken and waffles almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So
try Cracker Barrel. Try the sausage. Try the biscuits and gravy at Cracker Barrel. I hear it's quite good. So this
episode brought to you by Cracker Barrel.
That's right. Call us Cracker Barrel or email. Whatever. So she drives away after she feeds Boyd his tremendously huge breakfast.
While they're in a food coma.
I know. While they're listening to Tom Waits, by the way, which is clearly one of the best things to listen to in the morning when you're making breakfast. Everything is terrible. Yeah. I do love Tom Waits, but not uplifting music. And she calls Raylan while she's in the car on the way out, like, "Hey, what's going on? Or where are you guys? Have you got ficus? What's happening?" And she proposes, like, "Hey, I think I want to get out of this thing. I think this is getting a little too dangerous for my taste. How do I get out? I've given you what you need. I've given you information already. I want out." And Raylan says, "Hey, you haven't done enough. Can't get you out. Haven't done enough. Get me more, and I can get you into Witsec, and we can get you out of here." And so instead of going along with that plan, Ava throws her phone out the window and decides to lam it. And so we'll pick up with her in a minute. And then so Tim and Rachel are on their way to see Ficus. And Tim, of course, being the eagle-eyed, steely son of a bitch he is, immediately sees Wynn's guy watching Ficus and avoids the situation. And then Ficus leaves and the tail follows. And so they sort of follow the tail. Raylan is waiting for Ava, eventually realizes that she's standing him up, calls to get a tracker, discovers that she's ditched her phone. And so he calls Constable Bob. Patton Oswalt's back, and he immediately gets horny thinking about Ava, which is hilarious because Raylan has to bring him back. Ava Randolph, she can make a dog break. How does he say it? He says she can make a dog break her chain, or his chain is what he said. And Raylan's response is, "Yeah, she is pretty."
Everybody wants to bang.
Everybody
Ava.
wants to bang Ava. This is I do. The consistency here is wonderful. Anyone who knew Ava in high school loses their minds when they think about Ava as an adult. It's so funny. I can't think of anyone in high school that I went to high school with that I would be like, oh, that person wants to talk to me, or I'm supposed to go see that person. I can't think of a single person. Can you?
I can.
Oh, you can? Oh, really?
Yeah. Because I think, like when you're, when you're like in the middle of puberty and stuff, some things get imprinted in your mind forever. Like the first time that you saw whatever, like the first time you saw, I can't name names, but like in the cheerleader outfit or,
right.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I know.
Things just stuck in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can see that. But I don't know if I'd be like stalking like that.
Like 20 years later, just like, jaw drop, like can't think straight sort of thing. But
now I'm old enough that I have like some girls from high school that they've already basically, they've been married, had kids, and now they're divorced.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. I have plenty of those too.
So there's that whole cycle there.
I mean, arguably Ava falls into that category. It's not really divorced as much as, forcibly separated, but,
Yeah, that's right. Well, she's working her way through the crowd or she has to murder all of them or something.
Right. Well, Johnny's gone and Bowman's gone, so only Boyd is left.
Yeah.
We'll see if she takes care of that. So speaking of Ava, Bob, Raylan tells Bob, hey, I think she might go someplace she's tried to go when she runs before, and implies very heavily that that's Nobles, and sends Bob to watch Nobles. And that's exactly where Ava goes. She goes to Nobles and she's talking to Limehouse, who we haven't seen in a while. And I have a clip of that.
Be told I'm here because I need a car.
Hey, what's the matter with yours?
Nothing in particular, except today it doesn't suit my needs.
I look like a used car salesman to you.
I prefer to keep the purchase quiet.
You running from Boyd to Law, or both?
What makes you think
now, if you running from Boyd now, a different car might get you some distance, but the Law, no matter what you driving, you need new papers, a new life. In fact, running is a mistake. That's how they find you. And then they'll no doubt come up here looking for you, bringing headache and hassle, wearing my black ass out.
I promise you this will be the last time I come up here and ask you for help.
What you gonna do for me, Ava? Please, that ain't worth the time I just spent listening to this bullshit. Certainly ain't enough to take on the kind of trouble helping you's gonna bring. You got to give me something gonna get me excited, girl. And that little ring certainly ain't gonna do it.
I can get you more money.
How much more?
A lot. Enough to solve some serious problems and then some.
That's desperate talk.
You know what Boyd's been up to?
I did hear tales about a certain downtown bank getting hit. Couldn't but help think of your man. That's what we talking about?
I can point you to a large piece of it hidden away. But you gotta get me a car.
You got access to that kind of cash. Why come up here?
Truth be told, I don't want anyone after me, especially Boyd. I just want to disappear. I just want to be left alone.
You know, the best way to make sure everyone knows you're telling the truth is to say truth be told twice in the span of 2 minutes of a conversation.
or to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Tell you the truth. I really, I do love that. Like just straight up bald-faced lying to Limehouse. And Limehouse sort of buys it. And we get an appearance from Errol, who we have not seen since the finale of season 3. So it's been 3 whole seasons since we've seen Errol, and he's back, recovered from his gunshot wound. He's got another burn on his other hand this time, and he is back in Limehouse's service. He's been accepted back into the fold. Thanks for taking the bullet from Quarles and kind of saving the day there at the slaughterhouse.
Right. Yeah.
So, so Ava and Errol go off together to get the cash and Ava's exit car. She tries to offer him a couple grand in cash and then tries to offer him her engagement ring. I feel like she would have been much more successful if she just needed a car. If that's all she needed, she would have been much